12 spine-chilling tales of cursed stepmothers, unexplained horror stories exposed. Emily had always thought of Maplewood as a quiet slice of heaven. Tree-lined streets, kids playing tag, neighbors waving hello. But everything shifted when her father, Dan, brought home Clara. The moment she stepped through the door, an icy shiver raced down Emily's spine. Clara exuded a charm that felt all too captivating for comfort. Her smile was venomous, her laughter a chilling song that wrapped around Dan like ivy. Rumors fluttered through the town like restless spirits. Failed marriages, odd disappearances, whispers about children who vanished when Clara was around. It made Emily's skin crawl. But to her father, it was just teenage angst. The way he looked at Clara, softened and devoted, twisted Emily's gut into a knot of dread. Something was very wrong. After a grueling shift at the diner, with the echoing clatter of dishes now an unsettling reminder of the life she once had, Emily wandered home through the dark, deserted streets. Shadows flickered, consuming the last remnants of daylight. Her heart raced as she climbed the stairs to the attic, a place that had once held fond memories but now felt like the home of forgotten demons. That's when she found the dusty scrapbook, layers of memories coated in a thick layer of dust. Each page turned revealed haunting photographs of Clara's previous families. Smiling faces forever confined in glossy frames, but the stories they were draped in eerie silence. Emily's hands trembled as she traced the written words, detailing strange occurrences that had led to abrupt ends. With each photograph, her breath quickened. She felt it then, an icy dread settling in her bones. The nights grew longer as children began to disappear from Maplewood. Murmurs among neighbors escalated into panic, but no one dared confront Clara. An unspoken fear gripped them, a collective trepidation that seemed to coil around Clara's very presence. Emily felt increasingly isolated, plagued by nightmarish visions of Clara cloaked in shadows, her voice an enchanting whisper that promised dark secrets and lost children. Feeling cornered, Emily hatched a plan to escape, but Clara's unnerving gaze tracked her every move. In the folklore of Maplewood, Clara was more than just a woman. She was a name tethered to tragedy, a deceitful spirit who consumed the light of children, weaving it into her grotesque tapestry of a twisted family tree. Confrontation loomed on the horizon. The basement felt like the very belly of a beast. Dark and foreboding, it beckoned her with a morbid allure. The air grew thick as Emily descended into the shadows. Her heart pounded in her ears, as she summoned courage to confront Clara. The moment she demanded answers, the atmosphere shifted. Clara's eyes gleamed with a wild intensity that sent a jolt of fear through Emily. Suddenly, silence shattered with a low, guttural groan reverberating from the walls. Panic surged as Emily realized the basement was not just Clara's lair but a graveyard of lost souls, trapped within the very foundation of the house. Betrayal crashed down like a tidal wave, and Emily knew in that moment, the clock was ticking. Could she escape and save the remnants of her lost childhood? Or would she too be swallowed into Clara's darkness, becoming yet another shadow on her wall? Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With time slipping through her fingers, Emily lunged for the stairs, fear clawing at her throat. Clara's laughter echoed like a twisted wind, a bittersweet melody that whispered promises of despair. Shadows danced around her, and Emily could feel Clara's presence closing in. Would she break through the enveloping darkness, or would she vanish, another lost child in Clara's sinister collection? Emily bolted towards the stairway, her heart pounding like a frantic drum in her chest. The dim lights flickered above her, sending shooting sparks of dreadful anticipation through her veins. With every step backward, she felt the chill from Clara's grip tighten around her. Each echoing footfall was accompanied by the whispers of those unseen lost children whose names slipped through the cracks of memory, countless shadows stretching with the intensity of Clara's presence. "Where do you think you're going, Emily?" Clara's voice flowed from the dark, sweet yet dripping with malice. It slithered through the air, wrapping around her legs like serpentine vines, pulling her back. She fought against the pull, clutching desperately at the banister, but it felt unreal, like touching a nightmarish vision. "No!" Emily shouted, the words slipping from her lips, igniting a raw energy. But it only fueled Clara's chilling laughter, echoing off the basement walls like a manic cackle. Just then, a sudden gust of wind swept through the open basement door behind her, or was it? The air caught and swirled, transforming the room into a freezing tempest. Emily almost turned to face the storm, but something held her steady. Was it the certainty of Clara waiting behind her, eyes gleaming like twin lanterns in the dark? A howl reverberated through the basement, sharp and mournful. Emily clenched her fists, mind racing for escape routes, survival strategies, the frantic catalogue of her fleeting childhood. What if she could lure Clara away with promises? Bargains? But it wouldn't be that easy. The constant tightening pressure in the air told her that much. Clara could read her thoughts, sharpened instincts honing in on her desperation. "Don't you see?" Clara whispered, suddenly close, the confidence in her voice undeniable. "You're the last piece of this puzzle. They all belong to me, just like you will." Each word licked at the edges of Emily's sanity, making her stomach churn with fright. The basement warped around her. Pictures fluttered in the glare of a sudden light. 1,000 faces beckoned from the walls, grinning with faux innocence, eyes hollow and vacant. They were like memories, half-formed and erased, caught between the layers of revealing shadow and light. Stripped of happiness, they were remnants of those who had come before, those who played games under Clara's watchful gaze. "No!" Emily gasped, stumbling backward. She couldn't be next, she couldn't. Driven by sheer panic, she dashed toward the door, her heart a frenzied metronome speeding up with each step. Just as she reached for the handle, Clara's cold breath brushed past her neck, a reminder of death's chilling embrace. The door slammed shut with a thunderous crash, pinning Emily against its cold surface. "Stay with me, Emily," Clara purred. Her voice slithered through the cracks like smoke, wrapping around her throat. "Together we will create a family, a beautiful family." But the last word echoed false, hollow in a space that buzzed with unresolved pain. Emily could feel her mind fracturing, but as dread threatened to engulf her, a spark ignited in the corner of her consciousness. What if she didn't play Clara's game? What if she didn't surrender? The room pulsed. Something unseen stirred within the shadows, swirling just beyond her reach, a whisper of hope. In a moment, she turned sharply, eyes blazed with determination. "I refuse!" she shouted, scrambling for whatever strength was left. The walls shuddered, the shadows quaked, the laughter of Clara now swirled in panic, shooting spikes of fury through the musty air. Emily surged forward, a desperate explosion. The door would give way under her conviction. She needed to escape, to break free from Clara's grasp. The door shook violently as she hammered against it with every ounce of her being. Just as it began to yield, something caught her eye, a picture framing a girl just like her. Fear surged once more. Who was that girl? The laughter dropped to an eerie silence. "Have you found your place at last?" Clara's voice sliced through the stillness, sending a shiver down Emily's spine as darkness loomed heavier, coiling like a serpent ready to strike. Could she unravel the secrets of the past before it consumed her entirely? Emily's breath hitched. The shadows began to close in yet again. The room pulsed with unnatural energy while Clara's silhouette deepened in the shadows, growing larger as if feeding off Emily's fear. Her laughter morphed into a growl, the edges of her form blurring like the line between madness and clarity. The air felt thick, heavy with the weight of memories and dread. Emily's eyes darted back to the girl in the picture. She looked so much like her same hair color, same hopeful smile. But her eyes, clouded and dark, seemed to plead for help. Was there a connection? Was that girl another victim lost to Clara's twisted game? No. Emily screamed, her voice drowning in the oppressive silence. She had to escape. Had to uncover whatever bonds tied her so tightly to this nightmare. With every ounce of will, she began banging against the door again, pushing with her palms, rattling the frame. The metallic taste of fear grew stronger, mingling with the mustiness of the basement. Let me out. Let me go. Behind her, Clara's figure glided closer, malice draped around her like a cloak. You think you can run? You think you can leave? Her voice echoed like crashing thunder, sending shivers slithering down Emily's spine. This isn't just about you, Emily. You're part of something bigger, something beautiful. What are you talking about? Emily demanded, lifting her chin defiantly, warding off the encroaching darkness. For a fleeting moment, Clara faltered, a flicker of uncertainty crossing her features. You don't remember, do you? What don't I remember? Panic gnawed at the edges of Emily's mind, threatening to engulf her. Clara was lying, spinning webs of deceit. Your memories, they belong to me. I'm not just a stepmother. I am the keeper of lost souls. And those children you hear? They are waiting for you to join them. Clara breathed each word like a caress, making Emily's skin crawl. Emily could feel her heart racing out of control. She didn't want to believe Clara. She didn't want to believe anything about this oppressive place. It was all wrong, twisted. Let them go. She yelled suddenly. The walls trembled as her terror turned to rage. Emily felt the stirring within, the whisper of hope igniting into fire. You won't trap me. I know who I am. Clara's laughter morphed into a howling wind, discordant and full of fury. You're just a little girl. Tethered to me, she hissed, slashing through the air with her fingers. You can't even imagine the powers at play. No. They're not your children. They're victims of your madness. Emily stepped away from the door, her breath coming quicker. She didn't have time to waste. Hope surged again, a flicker among the darkness. What if I set them free? The shadows swirled, panic flashed in Clara's eyes. You'll regret that. In that moment, Emily turned, emboldened. She ran to the wall of pictures, desperately scanning each face. The chill of Clara's presence clawed at her back, but with every heartbeat, she felt stronger, more alive. Could she somehow reach them, bring them back to the light? Suddenly, one photo fell from the wall, fluttering like a helpless bird to the floor. Emily reached down, heart in her throat. She stared at the girl, a reflection of all she feared and loved. The child's lips whispered, "Help me." The air crackled as she grasped the photo, a surge of energy pouring through her veins. Clara screamed from behind her, pure rage echoing off the walls. Stop. You're breaking the pact. Emily held her ground. Stay away. The basement quivered, and the shadows pulsed violently, swirling around as if tearing apart under the pressure of her will and the photo she clutched. Could she truly dismantle the chains of despair Clara had wrapped around the souls lost in darkness? The walls trembled, as the very fabric of the basement seemed to shift. Emily's voice rose, "I will not be yours." Clara lunged, but Emily was ready. She faced the darkness, heart racing, pulse echoing like a drum. "I will set them free." A crackling explosion of light erupted around her. Would Emily uncover the truth hidden in the shadows, or would Clara ensnare her forever? As the shadows writhed, something sharp snapped in the air, like the breaking of an unseen tether. Would Emily find salvation or succumb to the horrors of the past? The explosion of light momentarily blinded Emily. She squeezed her eyes shut, praying that when she opened them again, the nightmare would be over. Instead, the warmth turned cold, wrapping around her like a serpent. She fell backward onto the damp, unforgiving floor, the photograph slipping from her fingers. Clara appeared in front of her, looming and fierce. The air crackled between them, electric and charged with confrontation. "You think that was enough?" Clara's voice dripped with disdain. "You think you can just break free? You don't know what you're dealing with." Emily's heart raced as she scrambled to her feet. The walls still pulsed with energy, but her moment of resolve ignited a ferocity within. "I know more than you think." With trembling hands, she reached for the picture again. The girl's face burned into her memory, forming connections she couldn't quite grasp. Somewhere within the fog of Clara's manipulation lay a truth she needed to uncover. The children in her dreams, their voices had been calling her, pleading for her to remember. "Join them, be one of them," Clara taunted, her features melting into a cruel smile. "They'll never let you go." Emily stiffened, a frisson of terror curling in her stomach. "Not if I can help it," she shouted, thrusting her arms toward the girl in the photo as if she could draw strength from the image. She could feel the tether that held her captive trembling, fraying threads of Clara's darkness pulling away. "You believe in fairy tales, Emily?" Clara hissed, her voice raising an icy gale. "Nothing ever comes without a cost. You think you can escape? You think this is a game?" Emily could feel the static in the air escalating. "I'm not afraid of you." The tremor in her voice betrayed her defiance, but she took a deep breath. With renewed determination, she lunged toward Clara, seeking the perch of frail hope in her heart. "You don't own me," she spat, feeling the conviction of countless souls rallying behind her. In a heartbeat, Clara's face twisted in rage, her shifting form swirling like smoke caught in a tempest. "You'll regret it, child. Freedom isn't free," she shrieked, and with each word, shadows recoiled, as if the darkness was alive, shifting and slithering back, recoiling from Emily's newfound strength. Clara's form expanded, and Emily realized her opponent was more than just malevolent, she was chaos personified. As the figure loomed larger, Emily felt the ground shake beneath her feet. "I'll show you the true cost of defiance." Before Clara could strike, Emily yelled out, "I release you." A sound, almost like a song, echoed through the basement, rising and resonating off the walls. The shadows howled, a cacophony of anguished cries, and suddenly, faces began to appear within the darkness lined with fear and yearning. Ghostly images of the children flared into view, their eyes wide, pleading. Emily's heart ached. They were so close. "Join me," they whispered together, the sound melding as one. "Join us, let us free you," Clara hissed, her fury erupting like a volcano. "No. You can't save them. You don't know who they are. You belong to me." Emily's pulse raced as she stepped towards the shadows. "I belong to myself." With one last push, she thrust the photograph forward. The light erupted again, blinding and pure, cutting through the thick, suffocating air. Clara's form convulsed, and Emily felt tendrils of the dark mist reach toward her, clawing to pull her back, but the brilliance surged through her. As Clara shrieked, the images of the children reached for her, their hands stretching through the fissures of shadows, willing her to trust. Emily closed her eyes and stepped forward, but just as she did, the basement shook violently, fissures cracking like a massive earthquake filled with the echoes of those who had suffered. Emily's heart dropped. Was this salvation, or would she fall into an abyss? The light flickered and waned, and Emily's mind drifted, half-remembered dreams swirling around her. What was the true fate of those lost souls? They were close, so close. But would she join them in their plight? Or be consumed by Clara's wrath? Would the picture reveal the past that could shatter the chains binding her, or would she become another soul nestled in darkness forever? The ground trembled like it was alive, the very foundation of the basement threatening to swallow Emily whole. She could hear the screams of the shadows clawing at her senses. The weight of Clara's fury stung like ice against her skin, and for a fleeting moment, doubt crept in. Was Clara right? Did she truly have the power to shatter the chains that bound her? The light dimmed, flickering like a dying star. Emily glanced back, tears of uncertainty threatening to spill. The children's faces were blurring, their hands reaching desperately, but more shadows gathered in the corners, dark and twisting. Clara's laughter echoed around the room, sinister and sharp, slicing through her resolve. You think their cries are for you? They want escape, yes, but at what price? Shut up! Emily screamed, her voice cracking under the strain. As if in response, the shadows swelled, warping into grotesque shapes and faces contorted with anguish, revealing their pain for all to see. Each wretched image was a reminder of what was coming for her if she failed. Did they suffer? Had they suffered in silence this entire time? With every heartbeat, a surge of memory crashed through her mind, half-formed images of children playing in faded sunshine, laughter ringing clear, now twisted by the weight of despair. I have to help them, she thought wildly. If only she could remember the girl in the photograph, that girl with sad eyes. Enough. You think you can turn them against me? Clara shrieked, eyes blazing like burning coals. The darkness twisted around her like a tattered cloak, emboldening her. I am the gatekeeper. They are mine. The air thickened, growing heavy with the oppressive force of Clara's power. Emily felt it press down on her, trying to suffocate her spirit. The brightness flickering against the dark was smothered under Clara's rage. Yet deep inside, an ember flickered, undeterred by the weight of her oppression. The photograph in her hand pulsed with warmth, as if urging her to hold on tighter. Fight, Emily. The whispered calls of the children surged from the shadows, wrapping around her heart like vines. Cautiously, she raised the photograph once more, entreating the light to burst forth anew. I don't just fight for me, I fight for you. I know your pain. I remember. A deep rumble shook the basement again, rattling the pipes and dust cascading from the ceiling like brittle rainfall. Clara surged forward, angry shadows lashing out like whipcords. You cannot weave magic with mere memories. You do not know what you release. But Emily held steady. I release the truth. She shouted, her heart racing wildly as she tapped into the core of her being, feeling every lost child within her. Suddenly, the basement erupted in a flash of light. The shadows shrieked, twisting as if caught in a storm, their shapes writhing in despair and fury. In that blinding moment of radiance, Emily felt a surge of power bloom deep within her. A connection to the children anchored her spirit. Their faith ignited her strength. She could see them now, their faces clearer, urging her forward, pulling her deeper into the light, but then came a voice, sharp and chilling, slicing through the brightness, deeper than nada. You think this is a victory, Emily? You might set them free, but you will pay dearly, and I will find you. Her heart sank as the room darkened again, the light flickering under Clara's relentless pressure. Faces emerged, twisted with shadows. Lost hopes collided with fear as the moment hung heavy. What price would she pay? Was freedom worth the risk of becoming a part of the darkness forever? As the last flicker of light faded, Emily was left gasping, teetering on the brink of endless night. Would she uncover the truths buried deep within the shadows, or would Clara's promise of pain shackle her soul to the despair she sought to escape? Just at that moment, silence fell sharply around her. Emily barely breathed, sensing the unseen presence approach. Something darker awaited in the void. What would emerge from the shadows to claim her? Would she stand her ground, or would she fall victim to the power Clara wielded with such authority? The silence was deafening, an omnipresent weight that pressed against Emily's chest. The flickering light vanished, leaving her alone with her terror, the air taut with a thick, viscous dread. Shadows pulsated around her, alive with malice, and the suffocating darkness seemed to breathe in time with her panicked heartbeat. Emily. The voice slithered through the suffocating night, low and almost gentle, yet laced with venom. It was familiar, a whisper from beyond the veil, pulling her deeper into despair. You made a choice. Each word stretched taut like a silken thread, wrapping around her and squeezing tighter. Clara was no longer before her, but her presence lingered like a ghostly fog, flooding the room with bitter memories. The children's faces blurred again, merging into a dreadful mural of anguish. They were here, they were always here, each one a fragment of her past, a piece of a puzzle she didn't yet know how to complete. Who? Emily choked, her voice trembling as she scanned the shadows. What do you want from me? Light hadn't completely abandoned her. The photograph remained warm in her grip, pulsing softly like a heartbeat promising solace. As she instinctively drew it closer, a flicker surged from within, illuminating her surrounding shadows just enough to reveal the expressions frozen on their ghostly faces. Then she saw it, a dark figure taking shape, an amorphous mass swirling with the energy of despair. Desperate reflections swirled in its depths, a mirror to her own fears. You could have saved them, the apparition sighed, each word an echo of regret. But freedom comes at a price. Will you pay it? Emily's heart raced, doubt creeping in like a thief. Behind the looming spectre, she sensed Clara's laughter still slicing the air, taunting her with each syllable. Repulsed, she pushed back against the fear threatening to engulf her, clawing through the layers of darkness. I want to let you take me. She cried out, her voice cracking under the weight of her own defiance. A tremor coursed through her body, but she balled her hands into fists, feeling the photograph's warmth ignite her resolve. You've taken enough. If you defy me, they remain trapped forever. The shadows laughed, a chorus of sorrow and rage melding into one, echoing through the empty space. Is this what you truly desire? She clenched her jaw, thinking of the children, their cries still echoing in her mind. No. I want to abandon them. The figure grew bolder, swirling closer. Then seek the truth of your own darkness, it hissed, revealing sharp, malevolent features as it advanced. Face your fears, become the keeper of what you release. Emily stumbled back as the shadows lunged, tendrils reaching, grasping toward her skin. Memories flashed before her, glimpses of laughter turned to screams, playful innocence shifting into despair. Each lost smile etched deeper into her soul, and she felt the very essence of them hovering just out of reach. Enough! Emily erupted, channeling her power, the photograph blazing like an inferno. The shadows hesitated, recoiling as she unleashed the warmth of hope. I choose them. In an instant, the basement erupted in chaos, lights flashing violently as shadows convulsed around her. The figure snarled, its visage twisting violently. You think you can escape what you've unleashed? The darkness screeched, parts of it crumbling under the weight of Emily's newfound resolve. Yet just as triumph flickered in her heart, the shadows fought back, clawing at her, trying to suffocate her light. Every choice has its consequence, Emily. I will not be forgotten. She gasped, feeling the tide of darkness crashing against her, a wave threatening to pull her under. She had ignited a spark, but would it be enough to conquer the abyss? As the shadows surged forward, drawing nearer, a thought pierced through her fear. What truth awaited, buried within that darkness? What sacrifice would she have to endure to set the children free? An ear-splitting crack echoed through the room, splitting the darkness as something unseen began to break through. What was it? Was it the end of Clara's reign, or the beginning of something far worse lurking just beneath the surface? The air crackled, a raw energy spreading ripples through the oppressive darkness. Emily stood, heart hammering against her ribs, and watched as a fissure widened, light spilling from its depths. The shadows recoiled, hissing as if stung, their forms twisting like anguished bodies. She felt light pour into her, invigorating her spirit, yet the figure lunged, a desperate rage driving it closer, a beast cornered. What are you? Emily shouted, challenging the darkness. Each syllable forced its way through her throat, the photograph burning hot against her palm. The figure paused, its malevolent form quaking. I am everything you fear, all you've neglected. Each child you lost. I feed on their sorrow. Its voice was a grating, harsh whisper, a blend of her regrets and guilt. Emily clenched her jaw, mouth dry. No. I won't feed you anymore. You don't own me. Her shout echoed back, almost daring the shadows to approach. The air rippled again, and wisps of light flowed around her like a protective embrace. But the shadows were relentless. They thrashed and screamed, closing in on her. She felt their cold breath, a reminder of each mistake, every tear she hadn't wiped away. I see you've chosen defiance, the dark figure hissed, stretching its arms wider as if to engulf her entirely. But there's more at stake than just your fear. Your defiance could doom them all. No. Emily cried, mystifying the shadows with her conviction. The light from the photograph pulsed like a heartbeat. I will not give in. They deserve a chance. A violent tremor shook the space, as if the world itself threatened to collapse. With a sudden surge of hope, she thrust the photograph forward, and a searing beam of light burst forth, striking the figure. For the first time, it twisted in agony, the shadows retreating as if burned. Clara's laughter echoed again, intertwining with desperate weeping, a symphony of despair. You think you can save them? They are part of me now. Not if I face you, Emily shouted back, determination lacing her words. Shakily, she took a step forward, her heart racing wildly. Show me what you've taken. Let me see them. The shadows writhed in fury, suddenly still as the air thickened with unspoken hate. Emily imagined the children, their innocent faces. She clung to hope, forcing it down the gullet of her fear. The photograph shimmered, and a pale glow emerged, revealing flickering images inside. There they were, the children, their laughter ringing pure but fading like echoes on the wind, smiles now clouded with confusion. Let them go. Emily screamed, pushing through the suffocating darkness. The shadows wailed, shrieking in unison, and began to unravel. You can't keep them here. They don't belong to you. With each word, light soared from the photograph. The children's forms began to thicken, a sense of warmth mingling with the cold dread cocooning Emily. But then, the dark figure lunged again, teeth bared, rage spilling over. Foolish girl. I am eternal. I will consume everything you love. The ground shuddered violently, the darkness writhing and recoiling, but still advancing. Emily could sense it was not just a battle with shadows, but a pitch for her very soul, a test of will. Who do you trust more? It taunted, a chilling whisper echoing inside her mind. Yourself or the memory of their ghosts? The answer surged through her, igniting her resolve. I trust in them. I trust in love. Just then, something deeper within the shadows writhed, and Emily saw a flicker, her resolve cracking the outer layer. The figure faltered. With trembling hands, she forced the photograph forward, praying it would be enough to free them all. Rumbling filled the air, followed by shattering silence. A choice hung like a noose around her neck, but as the darkness closed in, one question pierced through the chaos: what would she have to sacrifice to truly save the children? A sharp pain flared in her chest, and she gasped. Was it worth it? In the heart of the darkness, Emily stumbled back, clutching the photograph to her chest. Her lungs burned, each breath a desperate gasp, as the shadows pulsated around her. Panic clawed at her throat. The pain in her chest throbbed, a reminder of the choice she had made, and for a moment, she faltered. The dark figure shifted, the laughter of the children transformed into a cruel cacophony, echoing her regrets back to her. You think you hold power? It sneered, the shadows swirling with renewed vigor. You are shackled to your own sorrow, and now you will watch as it consumes you. Get away from me. Emily screamed, her voice trembling but fierce. The light from the photograph flickered in response, and a pulse of warmth surged through her. Like a distant sun breaking through the thickest fog, she raised the photograph again, the reflection of her children more vivid now, their laughter almost tangible. If I have to face you for them, then I will. I will bare my soul to save theirs. As she spoke, the ground trembled beneath her. The figure lunged again. It was closer than before, its eyes glinting with malice, and the walls of shadows crashed around her like a tidal wave. Fear clawed at her mind. What if this was all in vain? What if love wasn't enough against an entity forged on despair? Doubt crept in. Images of the children flashed through her mind, a fleeting memory of Clara's giggle, the way their faces lit up with joy. Strength poured back into her resolve. As though sensing her hesitation, the figure recoiled, a crack like thunder echoing in the air. You are nothing without your ghosts, Emily. Let me show you how powerless you truly are. A cold burst of despair shackled her. Shadows curled around her ankles like snakes, tightening their grip. Emily could feel the chill creeping up her skin, threatening to drag her under. She fought against it, heart racing. Release them! She shouted, forcing her voice through the weight of the darkness. You can't keep them in torment forever. Straining against the shadows, her fingers pressed deeper into the photograph, and light erupted once more, spilling across the void. It flared with an intensity that pushed the darkness back, if only momentarily. The figure convulsed, its twisted face contorting with rage. Then, it spoke again, softer this time, as if to draw her in. You're not their savior. Your love cannot save them from the truth. Eternal suffering is their fate, as long as you cling to this life. Those words, like ice, pierced through her heart. Emily paused, a knot of guilt tightening. Was it true? Could the memories of their love only chain their souls? Fear gripped her like a vice, breathing trepidation down her neck. No, Emily whispered, shaking her head fiercely. I once believed that, but as she looked around, the darkness swirled, conjuring twisted images, taking the form of the children, their faces morphed into expressions of fear and despair. Mommy, they cried out in unison, their voices a haunting echo. Why can't you save us? The question resonated deep, tightening her chest. She had to act, but how? Sacrifice loomed like a shadow over her, an inevitable dread that clawed and scratched, begging for release. The strange pain in her chest surged, stronger than ever. The photograph's light flickered, dimming as uncertainty seeped in. What will you give to free them? The dark figure whispered, its voice now seductive, promising release. Emily's heart raced with the terrible weight of truth, and the crushing realization dawned. Sometimes, love meant letting go. But could she bear it? As the darkness swirled around her, pulling her into its depths, a singular thought screamed in her mind. Was she ready to sacrifice everything? Would she step into that abyss? The figure seemed to know her struggle, a predatory glimmer gleamed in its eyes. Choose wisely, dear Emily. In that suffocating moment, the choice, her ultimate sacrifice, hung in the air like a biting wind, the final question echoing louder and louder. How much of herself was she willing to surrender to reclaim the light? The darkness thickened, coiling around Emily like smoke, filling her lungs with a suffocating weight. Time stretched, labored and agonizing, as if the shadows feasted on her hesitation. Her heart thundered in her chest, each beat sending shockwaves of terror coursing through her veins. Let them go! She shouted, her voice breaking, tears blurring her vision. For a fleeting moment, the photograph brightened, illuminating the tortured faces of her children clinging to each other like lifelines in a violent storm. Their smiles, once radiant, contorted into agonized expressions that clawed at her soul. The dark figure shifted its form, becoming a swirling mass of night, its laughter slithering through her thoughts like venom. You think you can save them? Love's chains are stronger than you know, and the truth, oh, the truth is far darker. With each syllable, Emily felt her resolve waver. Despair churned in her stomach, twisting and knotting like a physical entity. But I believed in protecting them. Her breath came in short gasps, each inhalation filled with dread as the shadows surged forward, engulfing her legs. They latched on like icy tendrils, pulling her under, dragging her toward an unseen fate. A panic swelled. She couldn't let them take her. Not now. Not when the photo burned in her hand, a beacon against the approaching dark. Fight it. A whisper urged. It was faint, a voice she almost recognized. But just as quickly as it came, the wind stole it away, replaced again by the figure's malevolent glee. Face the truth. Your love is fruitless, you've sacrificed nothing yet. Your children. They wander in darkness because of you. A fresh wave of guilt struck her like a physical blow. All the moments she hadn't been there for them flooded her mind. The late nights working, the arguments, the times she let bitterness win. Each thought sank into her chest, squeezing harder, threatening to crush her. She grappled with her own regrets and fears, a tempest brewing inside. No. They need me. Emily pleaded, her voice splintering in the growing darkness. As shadows roared, mingling with the whirls of despair, something shifted in her heart. The photograph pulsed softly, a fleeting warmth cutting through the cold like a sliver of hope. What she needed wasn't just to fight, but to understand, to embrace the pain and let go of the fear. Fine, she whispered, her voice filled with steely determination. I will face the truth no matter what. The figure recoiled slightly, eyes narrowing, as if uncertain for the first time. It's not just your truth to face, Emily. You'll pay a price you may not be prepared for. And as its laughter pierced the air, sharp and mocking, a darkness thicker than oil seeped from every shadow, binding Emily to the memory of her children's laughter. It surrounded her, the air vibrating with energy, and the pain in her heart intensified. She took a deep breath, she was tired of running. I will sacrifice whatever it takes. The words burst from her lips, louder and fiercer than before. She wasn't ready, but doubt had no place in this vault of despair. A crack reverberated through the air, the shadows recoiling, shrinking back momentarily. But the darkness could sense her fear, her uncertainty fighting against her vow. It roared back, angry and relentless. The chilling realization sank in. What would the price be? As the shadows advanced, a new question hung in the suffocating air. Would her sacrifice be enough to shatter their chains, or would it drag her deeper into the abyss? Emily steadied herself, heart on fire with purpose. She braced for what lay ahead, unaware of the twisted revelations lurking just beyond. The ground beneath her shook, and the photograph flared again, the light chasing the shadows, pushing back on the seething chaos, and then, as the darkness roiled and twisted, a dark shape contorted ahead, waiting to unveil the horrifying truth. Would she unravel the horror that held her children captive, or fall victim to the very darkness she sought to conquer? The air crackled and shimmered, vibrant with tension, as Emily braced herself for the inevitable clash between light and darkness. The photograph felt heavier in her grasp, a symbol of hope against Clara's insidious grip. She raised it high, channeling her determination as the foundation of the house trembled beneath her feet, echoes of past anguish resonating through the walls. Enough! She shouted, face drawn tight with emotion. You can't keep them from me. You don't own their souls. The figure twisted ferociously, the shadows swirling into a chaotic tempest. Clara's laughter rang through the air, a haunting melody that weaved through Emily's mind like a fraying thread about to snap. I am the keeper of their memories, sweet Emily. Their joy, their pain, it all belongs to me. Clara's voice took on an icy edge, intensifying the grip of fear around Emily's heart. When you cling to their past, you seal your fate. Embrace it, and they will be yours forever. No. Emily pushed back. I don't want them to dwell in darkness. I want them free. She thought of the children, their laughter ringing like a bell through fading sunlight. The chill around her thickened, a verbal reminder of clarity fought for and earned. Mustering her strength, she thrust the photograph forward, and the stagnant air exploded with brilliant light, illuminating the basement in a blinding radiance. With the light came clarity, a connection forged not just with her children, but with all of their hopes and dreams, shimmering like stars. You will not take them. The shadows recoiled, shrieking in agony. The essence of the children pulsed brightly within the photograph, their spirits lighting up the void and forcing the darkness back, revealing glimpses of their true selves, the figure faltered, anger morphing into a twisted expression of desperation. What do you think you've done? They're not free yet. You hold their fate in your hands. Then I will face their fate. Emily declared, voice growing stronger. I choose to believe in love, in their laughter, in the light that never truly fades. The words crashed against the shadows, echoing with renewed strength and purpose. The laughter of lost souls drifted around her, a soothing balm washing over the anguish she felt. Emily stepped forward, urged by voices pulling her into their embrace. The photograph burned with heat, a beacon guiding her through the storm. As her determination mounted, something shifted in the basement's aura. The air glittered with potential and the whispers transformed into a chorus of support. Help us break free. Follow the light. Each voice urged, intertwining into a symphonic melody. Clara's figure surged forward again, rage personified. You're a fool. You think you can lead them back into the light? Shadows swirled like a raging sea, but something deep within Emily anchored her. She could feel the warmth of her children wrapping around her, invigorating her spirit. Together, Emily shouted, gripping the photograph with both hands. We'll face the darkness. Together. With that declaration, the room erupted in an explosion of light, blinding and fierce. The paper pulsed, and in that moment, Emily saw them, the children, their faces illuminated and joyous once again, free from the shackles of the past, reaching for her. Join us, Emily. They cried, their voices harmonizing in an ethereal chorus, wrapping around her like a gentle embrace. The darkness roared, rippling like a storm about to break. You won't escape. I will reclaim what is mine. Clara's fury lashed out, but Emily felt tingling courage surge through her veins. The light intensified, fighting against the encroaching shadows, casting remnants of Clara's twisted malice aside. No! Emily screamed, her heart pounding as she focused solely on the children, her love dissolving the shadows that sought to reclaim them. You won't have them. The room shook violently as tendrils of darkness collapsed into themselves, a final howl of despair escaping Clara's lips. You will pay for this. She screeched, but the brightness had begun to engulf her, sending shockwaves of energy through the basement. With one last surge of power, Emily called out, I release you. The light erupted like a phoenix from the ashes as the shadows sputtered, twisting and contorting. Clara's face twisted in fury, then melted into sheer terror, as the light swallowed her hold. In the moments that followed, the remnants faded into fragments of dust, scattering into the ether. The basement shuddered, and Emily fell to her knees, breathless, as the chaos subsided and silence enveloped her. Emily blinked hard, the light's warmth slowly morphing into a soft glow. As she looked around the basement, the oppressive darkness was gone, replaced by a soft shimmering light. The energy felt renewed, vibrant, pulsing with life. Something had shifted. Mom! A voice broke through the silence, ringing familiar and sweet. Emily looked up, and there they were, her children, their radiant smiles sparkling brighter than any star. They rushed into her arms, laughter spilling forth like a river breaking free from winter's grip. Emily embraced them, joy blooming and tearing through the remnants of fear and despair that had once wrapped so tightly around her. I thought I lost you. She cried, tears of relief flooding her vision. No more darkness, one of them whispered, joy lighting their face. We're free now, Mom. And slowly, reality shifted, the basement releasing its grip as the children returned to her from the ethereal mist, echoes of laughter dancing through the shimmering light. The warmth filled the air, familiar and comforting, suffusing her heart with love. As they stood together, warmth blossoming around them, their once fearful home transformed into a place filled with sunlight and laughter. The shadows were gone, shadows that had clawed through their lives, and hope took their place among the echoes of the past. Together, Emily repeated, glancing at her children. Always together. And as she held them, the bonds forged in love, understanding, and unwavering resolve radiated pure light, a testimony to the power of human connections. The dark stains of Clara's tyranny washed away, replaced with a brighter tomorrow shining in the distance. Together, they whispered, a promise conjured from strength, echoing in the gentle breeze, leaving Maplewood a little more alive than before. Now, as you reach this conclusion, here's the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss more exclusive stories that will take you on thrilling journeys. Smash that like button to feed the algorithm, it genuinely makes a difference. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. We want to hear from you, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Let us spread the light and conquer the darkness together.